Colson Cards and Comics is running their first Flames of War tourney, and we're going to break out the rust using the version 4 rules. And to commemorate the new version 4, I decided to go ahead and paint up a new army. I always thought the IS-2 was a little lackluster in version 3, and having a desire to paint some KV-1s and IS-2s, I figured, you know what? This is as good as time as any. Version 4 seems to give a soft buff to heavy tank lists. And my first opponent at the tourney is Jamie, who is bringing a German heavy tank list. Well, that's a foil. You really never want to bring or try to outdo the Germans when it comes to heavy tanks. But I'm going to do what I can with it. I'm learning the list. I just know from, past experience that this is not a very good lineup. So he places his objective close to a forest next to a bunch of pioneers. I fear them not. With all my top armor too, it shouldn't be a problem. And almost immediately we ran into a rules digression. Does he get to use his Pioneer supply truck that he brought with him? I advise not, since in version 4 there are scenarios that very explicitly say that there are minefields in play, and the Pioneer supply truck says that if you have minefields in play, then you get the extra items that the supply truck would enable. He insisted that wasn't the case, and to be honest, I've run almost this exact list that he's running. And I'd be bummed if I didn't get to use my minefields either. So he opted to deploy a bunch of barbed wire. Okay. We also negotiated the value of the hill, and it was treated as open terrain. It wasn't even slow going, so okay. I digress. Maybe I'm being a little harsh. This is just one of those things that digresses into sportsmanship, and, let them take it. It's fine. Especially since the middle terrain, this hill right up there, is going to be open ground. And immediately, having learned from the great tutor Charlie Tank Writer himself, I asked the first question after he deploys and puts his CIC right here on the hill. He knows what he's doing. He wants to put it behind the hill to try to hull down and shoot my tanks, but you should always ask yourself, first and foremost, what can your opponent do to screw you from turn 1? So I line everybody up, execution squad style. I actually managed to light his ass up, hitting him twice with the IS-2s, and wouldn't you know it, I only bail him. He will successfully remount the next turn. I hadn't considered the KV-1s where they're at. With their AT of 9, they're not hurting that Tiger forever. I should have put them in a position that can move. Immediately, the King Tiger makes his presence felt, popping out of the woods with the telephone pole that is that AT-16 gun, and you guys in the know what this is going to go down. That's the only gun in the game that can hurt me, as the IS-2 has a front armor of 10 that the normal Tiger is just going to have issues. And immediately he bags one IS-2 and bails another. I mean, I got to do something about that. That's what I was thinking. I got to take care of this guy. I can't just let him shoot my tanks. That's just insulting. CIC calls Code Brown as his pants are relieved on the other side of the hill, quickly backing off on a shoot and scoop maneuver. Which is super smart. I mean, just always ask yourself, how is my opponent going to screw me when you're deploying? Because he almost lost his CIC. So having realized my situation, I remount the tanks and then move the KV-1Es forward across the hill to try to get closer to the Tiger. I'm going to annoy the mess out of them, right? So they start moving forward, crunching all their gears, singing la 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 la, because they got really nothing else to do. They can't hurt anything on the field right now. And seeing my opportunity to bag some shots on the King Tiger, I start firing that awesome AT-15 gun off the IS-2, and I do believe I hit the King Tiger, and he makes his armor roll. And, well, you guys know where this is going. I didn't really think about it because my opponent didn't correct me on my mistake. In his turn, the CIC moved up the hill again, took some shots at the IS-2s, whiffed it completely. Actually kind of amazing considering. His King Tiger manages to take a shot and does manage to bail out the same IS-2 he bailed out before, which will remount. In my turn, I continue moving the KV-1s over to take on and get as much side shots onto the Tiger. Also, we're going to try to line them up against the infantry that are cowering in the woods because they are not hearty Soviet tanks. Air does arrive. The glorious PE-2s zone in on the King Tiger, and they do not range in. They miss every roll. Which is disheartening now because I love air support, but not as disheartening as what's going to happen later on when I look at just what happened to the charts in this nerf. Air just sucks now. It sucks so much. Overall, in the second turn, we're just still trading shots, and I still have not realized that the IS-2 can't do anything to the King Tiger. So long as he's got his armor up there, I'm just kind of sitting around, kind of doing the math. You know, I can keep taking shots, and if I move forward with the Soviet heavy guards, it's going to be an impossible shot because of hidden chicks, which, aha, those of you in the know probably already realize another mistake. There's no hidden chicks in this list. In fact, this entire match, I will not realize that, and it's not really going to change anything. There's the infantry huddled into the woods, just waiting for the worst because the KV-1s, they're the old tanks, still good, are going to come over there and show them the meaning of Soviet heavy steel. And as they roll into the assault, we have another question. Do flamethrowers fire in defensive fire? We really couldn't figure out if that was or wasn't the case. We just assumed, yeah, why not? It's cool. We could just Ivan up there with his, cigarette lighter, see what happens. And it's kind of a self-defeating point. It's like, it works against top armor on tanks, and it's got a AT value of 2, so it's a moot point. The infantry really did not have a chance. It was like three swings, 3 kills. They immediately backed off the objective and started heading towards the half-tracks. And I went ahead and consolidated in such a way that I can get the slightly better armor facing towards the CIC in case he wants to do something about it. But really, what can you do? I mean, I know I'm not going to hurt him. Especially with hidden chicks. I do scare the mess out of him. I think over the past couple turns, I bailed him 3 times. And he's really sweating bullets. Mostly to the IS-2s. Whenever CIC gets over there, I shoot at him. But when he's not, I just kind of do the math as though I had hidden chicks inside. I'll just shoot at the King Tiger I can't possibly hurt. So he backs off the objective, doing what he can to try to take care of the KV-1s instead of dealing with the IS-2s. And wouldn't you know it, he missed. And that's about the time that during my turn I realized, you know what? I can't hurt the KV-1, can I? My buddy cracked a wise grin about that, realizing that I'm just, SMRT. And I move them forward. I'm going to try to take on, we're playing the long game here. We're going to take on the other Tiger because he's got some other Tigers that came in from reserves. You can see them right here. They are running down the hill. This is about turn 4 in this picture, turn 4 or 5. And we've run the clock out. We are about to take the objective. If we could kill his CIC, which, come to think of it, this is some refrigerator logic. Can the CIC hold an objective? He's just a warrior team. And I'm back. A quick check of the rulebook. I think he counts as a tank team, so yeah, he's okay. But time is running out. There's only so many times that I can take a shot and expect the armor to hold or otherwise just bail the IS-2s. And wouldn't you know it, almost immediately when I start thinking about that, it happens! He lights them up, hitting twice with the King Tiger, killing twice, and leaving the commander for my formation to jump into the next tank. Oh boy. That's not great. There were several shots that also came off the King Tigers the other Tigers from reinforcement that managed to cause some bails, but it was the King Tiger that just managed to light them up. They are giving them the correct amount of ammunition and or whatever pay for that King Tiger crew because he's just making a mess of things. Meanwhile, air support fails to show up. It's just awful. Not that I've realized the heart-wrenching nerf that they've received. So I make the best of it. I begin moving all my units around, trying to take on his CIC. Look, all I have to do is crack his CIC, and then I win the game, pretty much. Well, there's a lot of shots. All of them bounce. His King Tiger comes around the corner, lights up the commander. Well, okay, now I have nothing to hurt him. There's just nothing. I mean, the best I can hope for is a double bail and maybe annoy the CIC enough that he decides to go somewhere else, but it's just such a long shot. His King Tiger now has nothing better to shoot at. His CIC just will not die. And he has a bunch of other tigers coming around the corner. It's the writing's on the wall. But I decided to go ahead and give it my last hurrah. I'm not going to be a poor sport, decide to play it out. Besides, I have air, right? So the PE2s come in. Yeah, Soviet Air Force to the rescue. We get his CIC and the King Tiger under the template, and I hit both of them, but then I checked the table. Oh, I was using bombs. There's no way that I can hurt them. So I do everything to try to take care of the situation. Again, I'm just assuming that it's hen and chicks, which isn't right at all. And once you know it, for the effort, nearly everyone dies. He moves his tanks forward and starts just cleaning up the KV-1s. And that's about where we called the game. There's just nothing we can do. We're just running out of time. There's no way that I could hurt him. We can just pack up and move on to the next game. It's a good match. It's a good match. I think I should have put a little bit more effort on that King Tiger, but like I said before, this is a match that went down just about as well as it does in version 3. You don't try to out-heavy tank the Germans. And he just happened to have the AT value to crack me. And for all the IS-2's effort, I just could not hurt his CIC. I bailed him nearly every turn. He just kept remounting. So, kudos for that. So this has been an Ouchies Batrep, and thanks for watching. I think I learned my lesson here. We're going to do a lot better in our next games. And here you can actually see a rather candid moment in which I'm realizing that my entire list is just failing. Just poor decisions from turn 1.